Hello, welcome to Sage Thyme. I'm Lillian, and today I will be doing a tarot oracle reading on the upcoming 8/8 Lionsgate, August 8th of 2023. And I'm just going to go ahead and dive right in. I'll be starting with the Heavenly Bodies astrology cards, moving then into Brian Froud's fairy deck, and then finally the Shadowscape Tarot. There's the first card. And let's see what messages wisdom asks us to reflect upon, ponder, see how these messages do or don't resonate. And just trying to see how the cards want to be placed. And when in reflection with these messages, any other messages that you listen to or cognizant within yourself, take the time to enjoy how the messages move through your body. Not necessarily how the messages are delivered. That does make a nice difference, but more so how your body responds to the messages and then alchemizes them. Sometimes when we get a message and we have a adverse reaction to it, it can mean that there's something to be alchemized. Regardless of if we're perceiving it correctly or incorrectly, it's something for us to work with. And then after every alchemization is that creation, right? Lead into gold. And there's a gem in that. There's a gem in that process. And often, I would say more times than not, the rigor is what produces the most beautiful of pearls, the most pristine of diamonds. Cards are flying as I'm saying that. All right, which came out first? Here we go. That goes there. This goes there. Okay, let's do one more from the oracle and then I'll get into what we see before I do any confirmations. There it is. My goodness, interesting. This one almost wanted to come out. It does. Okay, I'll put those two together. Okay, so the first three cards that came out from the astrology deck is the Trine card, and here it says angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. I'm going to show each card to you and then we'll discuss it. And a trine aspect in astrology is a very beneficial, empowering. It kind of juices up whatever planets are in aspect there. And here the second card that came through is the Earth card. Persistence, patience, and practicality. You can see here are the Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Excuse my nails, they're all, I've been working on processing and canning apples. And so when you mess with apples, peeling them and cutting them, they get in the finger nooks and they create that rusty little discoloration, and they really want to stay there and stain. And I don't know, that's something that'll come up. It came right with the Earth card too. And then the last astrology card that came through is a sextile, and underneath it says a combination of tension and flow, potential and rewarding situation. And here you can see the nice warm colors that a sextile brings. And a sextile is something that is around 60 degrees of differentiation between two aspects lining up at the same degree. So there'll usually be a sign in between, and then the two outers are 60 degrees apart. We'll get into that. Besides, this is, at least I thought it was. Yeah, this is more of a tarot. So then from the Brian Froud collection, the She of the Cruach came through. And that one's sitting right above the trine, and it's making me think of well, I was just about to go into astrology, but I really do want to wait for a separate reading. So I'm going to go with the words and the colors, and they came together really beautifully. Maybe you can see the blues, obviously the blues here, but all these yellows dotted in between, the dots all around. And there's kind of like this opposite, I don't know if you can see how it's coming together, but it's almost feeling as if this trine card, the imagery of it, yeah, I'm going to look at the imagery instead of the message as much. Although the message does say angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. And these singer cards from the Brian Froud deck always tell me angel presence, celestial presence. This particular card, She of the Cruach, is a birthing card. This is a womb card. And there definitely is a lot of birthing energies coming through lately. And I expect will continue to as we near closer and closer to the Lion's Gate on August 8th. And so with this particular trine card coming through, I was getting the idea of this watermarked image. You know, you can look at it in a lot of different ways, but when you let your eyes settle on the different contrasts and lines, I'm getting this idea of the imaginal realm, and the imaginal realm to the individual. And when the individual person, in this case, since we are people speaking and listening to each other, when the individual takes the time and the quietude and space and physiological calm to allow themselves to open up inside, where the mind quiets its storytelling, which is really just a recording, retelling. And when that mind quiets itself, the imaginal realm, or the intelligence that connects with the imaginal realm and imprints itself into the imaginal realm, resides all within us in a lot of different ways. And so if you would like to take some time in this coming week to feel into aspects of your body without, set the intention and then let it go and go into that beginner's mind, no thought space, allowing the sensations within your body to open up into the energetic spheres, the chakras within your being and the space that you hold, and then allow those energetic spheres to open up and go deeper, fractal even deeper within, into the quantum realm. And in that quantum realm, you will simply be taken by, per your intention stated prior to this relaxation process, you will be taken into the imaginal realm, carried along the intentions that you set and you anchored within your heart space when you set them. And in that imaginal realm, without effort, your energetic and spiritual self will start creating blueprints, images, and they'll be a little funky at first, a little like, am I seeing a dog here? Is that a person standing behind the dog? Is that a bear? I don't know. And you'll, and being silly in the sense of intentionally being vague with the images I'm seeing here, in your imaginal realm journeys, the images will make themselves very clear to you, and the understanding of them will be. You won't have to think about what it means. It will simply be a knowing before you even have a chance to attach recognition. That's when you know when the mind is not running the show, when the re-recording, playback of the tapes of things you've heard, said, done, felt, life experiences, even multiple life experiences. That's not the influence we're looking for here. That's to be set aside, and allowing spirit to really, spirit in the sense of your higher self and your God self, to take the wheel in working with your intentions and co-creating in that imaginal realm. And from that, things will start percolating here in She of the Croax angelic womb, forming together and materializing to be birthed. How beautiful is that? And then alongside that, we've got Lease of the Shadows and the Himself card. And these two cards came on, let me just kind of lay it out how it came through. Came on either side of the Earth card. I'm going to go ahead and set the Earth card down for a second. Now, Lease of the Shadows, she is a spectacular fae. Oh, pardon me. Let me get the glare off, that glow. Look at that. She's a transdimensional being in and of herself. You know, fae in general are, some are more than others though, and she's definitely one of those. And Lease of the Shadows is one of those highly compassionate fae folk. She can face the darkest of darks, the cruelest of shadows, the ugliest of intentions, whether they're dressed up in a pretty package or they're coming out teeth bared. She can face them and hold space and sit, stand, reverberate powerful levels of compassion. And even more so than that, because of that ability to be able to see compassion in every character's storyline, she's one of those characters that you see most often frolicking along tent cities and hostels and hospices and children who are born with terminal illness or just devastating and debilitating illness, adults suffering, animals who are really taking on more in a lifetime than what seems reasonable. She's that character. She's always present in that, and she's there not with a happy-go-lucky glee, but with a powerful, beautiful joy that simply is able to also be in the space of pain that she's witnessing and hold hands and not try to impose that joy, that glee, that light, simply being a quiet presence of it. And she does this because she knows what it takes for an individual, human, creature, critter, otherwise, to be in a destitute situation doesn't necessarily, and often does not, mean that they earned it. And she's one of the few that can see that and hold this ever-present care and kindness. I was just looking at her face because she's looking down. I think you can see that here. She's looking down and her eyes are closed. Like she's in that dream state, being in presence with all moments, with the one that she's with or the situation that she's in. And she's in a backdrop that is just black as black, but her light is kinetic. She's in motion. It's brilliant. It's not all white light. It's not all pure because it includes all the things of all that there is. So it has multiple colors and multiple dimensions at any one given sighting. She travels through the veils of different realms. And she has this halo on her head, this crown upon her head that is the stars, like the Milky Way. And that is the realm that she travels amongst. An entire galaxy of knowing every single character's story and backstory, and when they most need that presence of compassion. And so she is that presence. And having the hymn card come out after, normally I have a different idea of what the hymn card is, but today this one really comes out as the individual, the you, the I, the anyone individual. And here he's got this deadlock look in his eyes, but there's a gentle smile of patience and listening. His ears are really standing out for me today. He's also got that halo around his head, not the galaxy here. It looks more like I'm just losing them, a cluster of stars. Oh my goodness, what's the word for it? Well, regardless. And he's got 3 primary large stars, one at the crown, one at the third eye, and one at the heart. And I feel like he's really connecting in those spaces with Lisa of the Shadows and with the imaginal realm to be that incarnate individual on earth that is emulating the ideals of Lise and emulating them in a way that is practical, that is everyday, that is able to step into and reside within his cosmic self, or her, gender really isn't the specific here, step into his or her cosmic self, as well as walk in the practical at the same time, recognizing that an individual can hold both and doesn't have to get lost in one or the other. And so he's really got one foot in each world in a way, the cosmic and the earth world. And I was just looking at the heart that's half covered as a completion, and the other half is just bones, looking like it's still being built. And here, the hymn card with the sun light, the star, at the heart chakra, which is, if you look at all of them, the most light and slightly muted. So I'm hearing this is a time to build and birth that heart space within the body. Create it within your imaginal realm. Hold the intention before you enter that meditative trance state. And then start creating that heart, both in the physical self as well as from the ethereal self. And I'm looking here, this heart, it's creating itself, but it's already in full bloom. They're already like roses, not just the buds, but the flowers are fully unfurling on this heart. And to me, that is telling me that you're already seeing results of this meditative entering into the imaginal realm action and creation therein. It's already starting to unfold in your life right now, which is a little counterintuitive. How could I already be manifesting something I haven't even sat down and taken the time to set the intention in? And I'm hearing it's kind of like a beacon of light for you. So start looking as you move through your days for things that have come into fruition in your life, really small things especially. Stop and smell the roses type of things, the things that you wouldn't normally notice unless you were taking the time to move slow enough and fully present enough to catch. Let those open themselves and glare themselves to you illuminate themselves to you, and let them speak to you as a message from your future. Let those rosebuds and blooming roses speak to you as a message of your future, saying, if it were something like the rose, for instance, what would that speak to you? And playing with the messages that just instantly come through, the quiet ones. Generally, they're not loud and they're not jumbled. They're quiet and subtle, like a 4-year-old who's sitting in the flowers and talking to the flowers and the bugs and the roly-polies and the bumblebees and the dewdrops on the petals. That quiet, gentle, sweet, and simple voice is the one that is the often most true voice coming through from your higher aspect. And so that's really what is being asked to be developed within your heart space and within your physical heart. And I'm just hearing now within the lung space. So the heart chakra takes up this entire chest area. And this rib cage is reminding me of the lung space. The ribs protect the delicate lung lobes of your body. And so let your heart sensations expand more and more, even if you already have. Let it expand more throughout your entire chest area. And as it's doing so, go ahead and move deeper into that quantum fractaling, deeper and deeper realms within your inner universe. And invite, with the intention of inviting things to be cleared out that no longer serve you, old conditions, programs, messages, things that you maybe aren't even aware of because they don't exactly come from this lifetime. Or they do, but they don't come from you. Or even your experiences and exposures, but they're in there because we're a collective and we share this world together. So we share the air, we share the experience. And these things I'm now hearing are even coming from the stars. For millions and billions of light years ago, these quantum particles of information and opening are asking to be given the invitation to be present within your heart space, within that breath, in-breath, and circulatory and out-breath rhythm. And I'm hearing this is a rhythm that is from the stars and from the cosmos, but both from the ancient past, which still exists, into the great, already written and unknown exactly future. And it is an informing light that will open and expand your capacity specifically within this heart chakra and chakras therein of the heart space region. And from that, the heart is going to then circulate, just like it circulates oxygenated blood through the body. It's going to energetically circulate what you're drawing in at a quantum level from that deep, most minute, tiny little spaces all throughout your chest area, creating an even more powerful, reverberating, radiating heart chakra space. And instead of getting so full at capacity it can't take anymore, it's going to start moving it now down through into the the solar plexus, and then the sacral and the root chakras, which I'm feeling this also like moving like the qigong heart space throughout the hands. So you'll be able to hold a space with your hands and then flush it down and over through your body. That was a beautiful message. Thank you, Spirit. And I'm going to show these next cards. The last two cards that came out from the Brian Froud Oracle is the first one that popped out was the Soul Shrinker. And I thought, okay. and we'll go from there. But this one insisted on coming out afterwards. And this is the angel of healing, or the singer of healing. Oh, it is actually quite literally. And like I said, the angel of healing. So here we have the soul shrinker. And there's kind of no bones about that card. It's a shadow card, right? I mean, ugh, that's intense. And yet, the singer of healing insisted on coming out right next to it. And I'm hearing singing is the thing. Humming, creating sacred sounds for your body, for your ears, but also for your body. Let those sacred sounds that you utter, whether they're gutturals or tones or hums or chants, let them move through your body. They're creating a passageway, opening the passageways that the heart, culminating energies we just spoke of are going to then flow like a river. So let this shadow energy be opened up with healing by bringing in Lise. Bringing in that incredible respect and reverence. She doesn't even want to be on top of the soul shrinker card. She wants to be next to and behind and say, I've got you. I'm listening. I feel tears coming through in pain right now, in grief and gratitude for that potential holding that you're going to have, all of you. As you hold space and say, I'm here. I'm not going to do it for you, of course, but I'm here. I'm holding you. I'm listening. I'm with you every step of the way. And you can do this because you're not alone. And this is a conversation you have with those achy spots within you, with those, different emotions that pop up. As long as you are taking the time to take time with it. Stillness, quiet space, listening. And then things will erupt. And often they come up while we're busy doing. Chores are a great time, and tasks are a great time for the shadow self to come up and start bitching, is what I'm hearing. The shadow self comes up and starts bitching. And you feel it when you're paying attention. You feel that nagging or that crying or that anger or that and maybe at first you perceive it as a narrative, a conversation with somebody that really irritated you, a recollection of somebody that just really broke your heart or something like that. So that'll often be the first presentation. You'll relate the feelings instantly to a memory in this present life or a circumstance that you have been going through. And when that occurs, catch it. Notice that it's there, and then pause what you're doing and take the time to go in and say, I hear you, I feel you. You'll recognize if it's in your head, you have a headache, stiff neck, or you'll feel just this congestion somewhere in your body, either because it's full-blown manifested into a physical pain, or it's still at an energetic phase. And when you take that time in that stillness and you say, I'm listening, eventually that ache, that woe, that rage, that despair, whatever it is, that anxiety will kind of get quiet, almost as if it's like, are you really listening this time? Are you really paying attention to me this time? And you can out loud or quietly within say, yes, I'm here. I'm here. Be Lise of the shadow. The light, multidimensional, compassionate heart, unwavering in her non-judgment. Be that. For whatever that emotion is. Even, I talk about shadow a lot in terms of like anger, pain, despair, those things. Shadow can also be in joy. It can be in happiness. It can be in excitation. And so it's really anything that is an overt emotion or sensation that is causing a strain on the psyche, the emotional body, the physical body, and so forth, all the parts of who you are. And so it comes in many forms. It's not that it's being deceiving, it's just that it's being imbalanced. And it's imbalanced because it's been trying to speak to you, this aspect of you, this unattended calling to the whole of you, this part of you, calling to the whole of you, saying, I need not only balance, but I need to move beyond this. I need to reconcile this. And so Lise of the Shadows listens. She listens, and she does not need to quantify, qualify, basically label or describe. She simply holds space and love. And it sounds simple, but it takes a lot of doing, especially because the mind will start wanting to kick in and run stories. If we're tired or busy, the mind gets to boss everything because we're not fully being conscious and present. But with practice, with daily practice and attentiveness towards the practice of being present, it's easier to catch that, either before we get too tired or too busy, or even when we're in those moments and we let our going and doing overrun our entire system. And we've moved back into the head instead of the heart and the energetic system and the pulling in of the higher consciousness. So I want to take a look at this last card really quick to see the sextile card. Look at that. Okay, so again, it says a combination of tension and flow, potential and rewarding situation. And isn't that exactly what we've been speaking of? Tension and flow, contraction and expansion and evolution, bringing about a rewarding situation. So that's perfect. I'm going to quickly draw just one or a couple cards that might come out from the Shadowscape tarot. And we've got the first one, second one. Let's see what these two have to say. Try to keep these readings at a more reasonable amount. Perfect. Two of Pentacles and the Two of Cups. Two of Cups here, very symbolic of the balancing act. You can still live life, however slow it is or however fast it is. It doesn't really matter the speed as much as it does how well are you able to balance. And I've yet to find anybody who can move at a cultural, societal, Western societal speed and rhythm for that program and be able to maintain balance of their spiritual self and their presence awareness and their heart space presence. But here next to it, we've got the Two of Cups. And here you can see there's this physical tree, this earth body tree that is intertwined and co-creating and enmeshed with its higher aspect, its spiritual self, its spiritual treeness that it is. And it's doing so at a quantum level. You can see with the little goldfish to the right. I think it's the right for you. Coming out of the cups. And it's doing so in the imaginal realm. You can see kind of the watermark of what it's creating in here. There's shadow aspect, there's light aspect. It's all being held and loved by that little heart dangling up above. So these are the messages coming through to ponder and enjoy over the next week, throughout the next week, as we enter into the August 8th Lion's Gate. And you know, the energies of the Lion's Gate will continue to move for another couple of days or so after August 8th. But really this culminating energy and the time that you spend in the coming 7 days is a bit like a preparatory energy and effort and mechanism, like prepping for a great big culinary meal. You can pull out all the ingredients and throw them all into a pot and it'll make something. Or you can cut things in different shapes and sizes, cook them at different temperatures and in different ways, and bring them together on this plate. Whether it's a one-pot wonder or it's a artistic culinary masterpiece, it will come together and create something so much more extraordinary when you've taken the time to prep all those ingredients. So prep all these ingredients that I've spoken about today and that have been conveyed, and include the ingredients of the ideas and the feelings that have moved through you as I've spoken, and even afterwards in quiet reflection or journal writing or vision boards, however you like to divine with with your higher self and bring messages in. Go for a walk, put your feet in the water, or pet your cat or dog, speak to the birds, let the messages come through. And each moment of each day that they do, the more time you put into it and the more quietude and presence you put into it, the more ingredients you'll be given, and most importantly, the better quality those ingredients will be. And that's really where on the 8-8 Lion's Gate, those ingredients will come together and you'll be birthing something from the imaginal realm, from your energetic body into your human body, your human reality, and the multidimensional realities that you work with consciously. So I do trust that these messages came through perfectly in perfect timing and exactly as you needed to hear them and work with them. I trust this, I know this. I'm grateful for all of you who are present, and may you have a blessed week in Lionsgate. I look forward to engaging with you soon. Much love and heart.